everyone, this is Sara and welcome to my crochet channel. Today's video is my brand new crochet pattern release called the Lisa Ann Earwarmer and Cowl set. Now this set is made out of the brand new yarn from Red Heart called Chick Sheep by Marley Bird, and this is amazing yarn. It's 100% merino mercerized wool. And you forget everything you know about wool. Wool is usually scratchy and itchy, shrinks in the wash, and you're not able to wash it. This yarn is different. It is soft, and it comes in 24 beautiful colors that all blend nicely together. They're bright and vibrant. It's soft. It's not itchy at all. And you can wash it in cold water on gentle cycle and just lay it out to dry. Now I have on my blog this brand new pattern, of course, and also some specs and information about this brand new yarn. So you can click on that link that's underneath this video and read that if you want to. Now, like I said, today's pattern is the Earwarmer and Cowl set named Lisa Ann. It's a fun pattern to make. Now, I did place the skill level at intermediate because we do some front post double crochet and we start with the foundation double crochet stitch. But don't worry, I'll show you how to do all of those stitches and you're gonna love it. It's really simple and easy to make. The head warmer measures about 20 to 22 inches depending on how tightly that you stitch, but keep in mind it's very stretchy. The cowl, it measures about 40 inches long and about 8 inches wide. This one here is about 4 inches wide. But again, this pattern is very versatile. You can make it as big around as you want, or you can make it as long as you want. And I think you're really going to enjoy making this set. Now, the one that I'm wearing, I made in the 3 colors of the Chick Sheep yarn. I want to make sure I say that right. This one you see behind me here is made with Red Heart shimmer. So you can use any medium weight number 4 yarn that you want to. You can make it in 3 colors like this one that I just adore, or you can make it in 2 colors or even 1, or you can do every row a different color if you want to. So like I said, it's got endless possibilities. So what you're going to need to make yourself a set of the headband and the cowl to match, you're going to need about 5 ounces of your main color, which in this one where we just did 2 colors, it's the cream. And in this set, it is the gray, which is called sterling. And then you're going to need 2 different colors, and you need about 4 ounces of each. Or if you're going to use a solid for all of your little heart-looking bumps, you're going to need 8 ounces for all of those. So either you can use 2 colors or 1 color. For today's demonstration, I'm going to be using the 2 colors. Now, the yarn here is 100% merino wool, like we talked about, but it is a medium weight for yarn. So you can use any medium weight for yarn for this project. You don't have to use this yarn, even though the pattern was written specifically for this yarn. For today's demonstration, we're going to be using an eye hook. And the eye hook that I'm using is an I9, which is a 5.50 millimeter crochet hook. And then, of course, you'll need your trusty scissors. We're going to be starting down here on the band, and then we'll work our way up and finish with the bottom band. All right, let me move this one out of the way. And the way that this pattern works is you stitch the headband and the cowl the same The stitches are the same. The bands at the top and the bottom are the same. The only difference is the amount of foundation double crochets that we'll start with, and of course the amount of rows that we'll stitch. And I'll give you both of those counts as we go. But also remember, the free crochet pattern link is in the notes underneath this video, so you can go and check those counts for yourself if you would like. For the demonstration, I'm going to be making the earwarmer, and then I'm going to give you the counts and the differences to make the cowl, because they're stitched the same. Of course, the cowl is just bigger. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with 80 foundation double crochets for the earwarmer. If you're going to make the cowl, and you'll want to make one to match, of course, you're going to need to do 160 foundation double crochets. All right, now I have this pattern at intermediate because we are doing foundation double crochets and some front post stitches. And so if you're a beginner, this might be a little overwhelming, but I think that you can do it, and it's a good way to learn how to do the foundation double crochet. So we're going to begin with a slip knot. And then we're going to chain 4 chains. We're going to yarn over, and we're going to put our hook through the 4th chain from the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll pull up a loop. You'll have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and go through that first loop only. Then we'll yarn over and go through the next 2, yarn over and go through the last 2. And what we've done is we've made a chain and a double crochet. And this is going to be the foundation for our cowl and our headband. This is a great stitch to learn if you're making something that you want the edge to have a nice stretchy band. And it also helps with counting stitches. All right, so let's do the next one. We're going to yarn over. We're going to go in that chain that we made at the beginning, pull up a loop, yarn over, and only go through that first loop. Yarn over, go through the next 2, yarn over, and go through the last 2. So now I've made another chain and double crochet. And I'll continue the same way. And I think once you get going, you'll realize it's really quite easy. Yarn over, go through that chain that we made, pull up a loop, and go through the first one. Then we'll pull up a loop, go through the second 2, and go through the second 2, or the last 2. And you can see it's making a nice row. It's going to be nice and stretchy because we want our headband and our cowl both to be a little bit stretchy. So just to repeat, you're going to need for the headband 80 foundation double crochets, and be sure and count this first chain 4 here as your first foundation double crochet. And for the cowl, you're going to need 160 foundation double crochets. I'll do a few more just in case you haven't got the hang of it. Yarn over, go in the chain that we made, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through the first loop, yarn over, go through the next 2, yarn over, and go through those last 2. And not only does this make a nice stretchy band, but it also makes it a heck of a lot easier to count your stitches. Counting chains is really hard for me when you get to the long chains. So this way I can keep track a lot easier. That's just me. I like to do things smarter, not harder. All right, so I'm going to continue, and I want you to do the same, depending on whether you're making a cowl or your headband earwarmer. making the appropriate number of chains. And I'm going to say it one more time just to make sure. You need 80 foundation double crochets for your ear warmer, and you need 160 foundation double crochets for your cowl. So let's keep working those foundation double crochets, and I'll meet you back here when you're done. I finished my 80 foundation double crochets. Something that I do that you might want to do is, as I'm working, I mark it with some stitch markers. You can use safety pins, you can use paper clips, or even just another piece of yarn. And I'll stitch 20, and then I'll put my clip in. And I'll do this all the way around. That way I don't have to keep recounting, and it works great when you're doing 160 like we would do for the cowl. And so you can mark it however you want, but that is one little hint I'll give you to help you keep track of your stitches. So what we're going to do next is we're going to put the two ends together, and you want to make sure that you haven't twisted your row of foundation double crochets. And what we're going to do, and I'll just lay it flat, I do it that way, and then I'll put it together. Make sure that your beginning tail is at the bottom, and then we're going to join to the top of the chain 3 where we started. We started with the chain 4, and we're going to join to the top of the chain 3. Put our hook in, pull up a loop, and then pull that loop through the loop that's already on our hook. And we're just going to chain 3. Now, something that you'll notice is you'll have a little bit of a split where we joined. And when we're done, we're going to use this beginning yarn tail to stitch that closed, but we won't do it right now. We'll come back and I'll show you how to do that a little later. For row 2, we have 1 double crochet in the chain 3 that counts as our first double crochet. We're going to place a double crochet in the next 2 stitches. So we'll go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2, yarn over, and go through the second 2. And then we'll do that in the next double crochet. 1, 2, 3. Then in the next double crochet, we're going to stitch a front post double crochet. Now normally we stitch the double crochet in the top of the double crochet going through. And when you stitch a front post, we're going to go through what's called the post of the stitch, and that's the long part. So what we'll do is we'll wrap our yarn around our hook, we'll go around that post, pull up a loop, and then just finish the double crochet like we normally do. And so the way this row is going to work is we're going to stitch 1 double crochet in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and then we'll stitch a front post double crochet in the next stitch. Now make sure that you count your stitches and you don't put that front post in the wrong place. It'll mess your count up. And this is how we'll work row 2. Whether you're doing the ear warmer or the cowl, it's worked exactly the same. 3 double crochets, and then a front post in the next stitch. Front post double crochet, and then 3 double crochets, 1, oops, 2, and 3, and then a front post double crochet in the next. And that's how it's going to look. We'll work this all the way around this row, and then we'll join back to the top of this chain 3. So 1 double crochet in the next 3 double, oops, get in there, double crochet, and then front post double crochet in the next. And if you've never worked a front post double crochet, this is a great project to practice this on. We'll be doing this on this row, and then when we finish it, we'll also do a row of these on the end row. So not a lot of them, but just enough to learn. All right, 1, 2, 3, then a front post double crochet around the next double crochet. We'll continue this all the way around, whether you're doing the cowl or the ear warmer, and then we'll join to the top of our chain 3. I finished my row around, 3 double crochets, front post, and you're going to end with a front post stitch. We're going to join to the top of that chain 3 with a slip stitch, chain 1, and then we're going to stitch 1 single crochet in the top of that front post stitch that's right here. So we'll move back a little, go in the top of that front post stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, and go through both of those loops for that single crochet. Then we're going to chain 3, and we're going to skip those 3 stitches, the chain 3 and then the 2 double crochets, and stitch a single crochet in the top of the front post double crochet stitch. And this is how this row is going to work. Chain 3, then stitch a single crochet in the top of the front post double crochet. And we're going to be making these little chain 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3, single crochet. 1, 2, 3, skip those 3 double crochets and single crochet in the front post double crochet. And I'm using the term top of the front post double crochet just so you're not confused and try to stitch around it. We're stitching in the top like we normally do a regular stitch. So we're chaining 3, skipping the 3 double crochets, and then single crocheting in the top of the front post double crochet. And we're making little chain 3 spaces all the way around, and that's where we're going to be changing our color for those little, they look like little hearts, but not exactly, that we're going to be adding. It's just a fun little stitch. All right, so whether you're doing the ear warmer or the cowl, it's done the same. Chain 3, single crochet, top of the front post double crochet. And like I said, we're making these little chain 3 spaces where we're going to be adding the colorful stitches. We'll do this all the way around, and then we'll join back to that first single crochet that we made. I finished making the little chain 3 spaces, chain 3, single crochet all the way around. I'm going to join to that first single crochet that we made. There we go. slip stitch. All right, and now we're going to change colors. When you're working the cowl or the headband ear warmer, we're not going to cut off our gray yarn. We're going to have it trail up the back, and I'll show you how to do that as we go. We're going to take our purple yarn because that's our next color. We're going to join that in. Where's that gray yarn go? There we go. Snug that down. And then we'll hold that purple tail. Make a chain 1 just to snug it in there. And then we're going to single crochet right in that same single crochet right there in that first single crochet. Now we're going to stitch in the chain 3 space. We're going to stitch 2 double crochets, 1, 2. We're going to chain 1 and then stitch 2 more double crochets. And that's basically a shell stitch. We're going to go to this next single crochet and single crochet right in it, a single crochet. Now we'll go to the next chain 3 space and stitch 2 double crochets, chain 1 and 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, and single crochet in the next single crochet. And this is the way this row will be stitched up. In each of the chain 3 spaces, we'll stitch 2 double crochets, chain 1, and 2 double crochets. Then we'll single crochet in the single crochet. 2 double crochets, chain 1, two double crochets, then single crochet in the single crochet. And you can see it's making shell stitches all the way around our row. I want to show you on the inside. This is how it will look. Your colors will just be trailed along, the white and the purple, and of course we're using pink as well, and that's how that will look. We won't be cutting our yarns after each row. We'll trail them along. If you want to cut them, you certainly can, but you're going to end up with a whole bunch of ends you're going to have to weave in, and this just makes it much neater in my opinion. All right, so just to make sure that you understand what we're doing on this row, we're going to stitch 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. We're going to chain 1 and stitch 2 double crochets in the chain 3 spaces. And we'll stitch a single crochet in that single crochet in between. We'll work this all the way around, and then we'll join back to this single crochet where we started. As you can see, I finished all of my shell stitches, and now we're going to join to that single crochet that we started with a slip stitch. And now we're going to bring our gray yarn back in. So we're just going to drop our purple. We're going to grab our gray yarn, put it back on our hook. There we go. We'll snug that purple one down. Just give it a little bit of a gentle tug. And then we'll make a chain 1 just to hold that in place. And you can see the back there where that gray is. Alright, so we chained 1. We're going to chain 2 more, because we want a chain 3. Now I'm going to place a double crochet right in that single crochet where we started. So I'll go right in there. I have a chain 3 and a double crochet. That chain 3 counts as a double crochet. Now we're going to go to that chain 1 space in the center of our shell stitch, and we're going to stitch 2 single crochets. 1, 2. Now we're going to go to the next single crochet and stitch 2 double crochets. 1, 2. And see how that sort of, not exactly, because there isn't a point, but it sort of makes it look like a little bit of a heart. All right, and so this is the way this row is stitched. We'll stitch 2 single crochets in the chain 1 space in the center of our shells, and then we'll stitch 2 double crochets in the single crochet between. Alrighty, and we'll do this, of course, all the way around our row. 2 single crochets in the top of our shell and 2 double crochets in the single crochet in between. Two singles, 2 doubles. 2 singles, 2 doubles. There we go. And I'll continue doing this all the way around. And one thing to remember is your stitch count doesn't increase or decrease. It stays the same because we're basically stitching a tube. So whether you're stitching the earwarmer or the cowl, it's done exactly the same at this point. Once we get to the point where we need to add more rows, I'll give you those counts as well for the cowl. So I'm just going to finish all the way around, stitching 2 single crochets in the center of my shell stitches and 2 double crochets in the single crochets all the way around. So you can see I finished this all the way around. It looks really pretty. We're going to join to the top of that chain 3, slip stitch, and now we're going to place a single crochet between that chain 3 and that double crochet. So we'll go right in between and stitch a single crochet. And now we're going to chain 3, because we're going to set up another row of chain 3 spaces to stitch our next row in. And the way we'll do that is we'll stitch a single crochet between the next 2 double crochets and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Then we'll go to the space between the next 2 double crochets and stitch a chain 3. There we go. And you can see we're again making chain 3 spaces for our next row. Alrighty, so chain 3, single crochet between the next 2 double crochets, and chain 3. Single crochet between the next 2 double crochets, and chain 3. And we'll continue this all the way around, making those chain 3 spaces for our next row. So I made chain 3 spaces all the way around, putting my single crochet between the double crochets. I'm going to join back to that first single crochet with a slip stitch. And if you're using just 2 colors, you would go ahead and bring your purple one back up. But since I'm using a 3rd color, I'm going to put my pink color over my hook and pull it through. Snug that down. There we go. We'll make a chain 1 to snug everything nice and tight. And now we're going to go right in that single crochet and make a single crochet, just like we did when we did the purple row. And we'll do the pink row exactly the same as the purple row. 2 double crochets, chain 1, and 2 double crochets, because we're making another row of shell stitches. So if you're not changing colors, my pink didn't want to come out, then you're doing it exactly the same way as the purple. And if you did change colors, we're still doing it exactly the same. The only difference is we have a different color. So we're making 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets, and then a single crochet in the single crochet in between. So 2 double crochets, chain 1, and 2 double crochets. Single crochet in the single crochet. And we'll just repeat that all the way around, just like we did the purple row. You can see I did my pink shell stitch row. I'm going to join to that single crochet with a slip stitch. And because I'm only doing the 1 row of pink, I'm going to go ahead and cut my yarn. If I was doing the cowl, like this one where I did 3 rows of pink, I would go ahead and leave it on and carry my yarn across the back like we have been. But since I'm only doing 1 row of pink, I'm going to go ahead and cut that yarn just to get it out of the way. So what's going to happen next is we're going to repeat the rows that we did here. I'll pull up my gray yarn, snug that pink one down. We'll chain 1 just to snug it in there. And then of course we're going to chain 2 more because we're going to need a chain 3. Then we'll stitch a double crochet in that single crochet that we stitched earlier, of course. So our chain 3 here counts as 1 double crochet, and then we did a double crochet. And we're going to do this row exactly like we did the purple one. So we'll put 2 single crochets in the chain 2 space of the shell, and then we'll stitch 2 double crochets and the single crochet in between. So it's stitched exactly the same. So we get the exact same appearance, only in a different color, unless you're doing it in the two colors like my cream and white one are stitched. So we'll continue stitching around exactly the same. 2 single crochets in the top of the shell stitch in that chain 1 space, and then 2 double crochets in the single crochet that's in between the shell stitches. So we stitched our double crochets and single crochets like we did on this row, and now it's time to join and then make those chain 3 spaces like we did as well. So I'm joining to the top of this chain 3, make a little chain 1 so that it stays put, and then we'll make a single crochet right in between those 2 stitches and chain 3. Now we're going to do up here what we did down here to make the chain 3 spaces. So we chained 3, and then we're going to place a single crochet between the next 2 double crochets. Chain 3, single crochet between the 2 double crochets. Chain 3, single crochet between the 2 double crochets, as long as it gets on the hook. And we'll do this all the way around, just like we did down here. So I finished this row of the chain 3 spaces, and the next row is exactly like this purple one. And for the headband, you'll just do one more set of the purple heart looking stitch, the long double crochets, and then the single crochet, chain 3 single crochets. So you do one more set. On the cowl, you'll do a total of 2, 4, 6, so you'll have 3 sets of each color, or 6 sets. Here's one I did where I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sets, all in one color for our test. And so you'll just repeat for the headband one more set, but for the cowl you'll repeat so that you'll have 6 sets of the same thing. That's actually upside down. There we go. Because we did purple, pink, purple, pink, purple, pink. On the headband, we're just going to have 3 sets. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get my last purple set going. Pull up my purple yarn. Do my single crochet to snug that down. Single crochet in the single crochet, and then my shell stitches like we've already previously done. 2 double crochet, chain 1, and 2 double crochets. Let's get that gray yarn out of the way there. And then we'll do our single crochet in between. We'll do this around again, then we'll do these 2 rows again, and then we'll add the last trim. I finished my 3rd set with my little heart stitch, shell stitch, long double crochet and single crochet between, and then the single crochet, chain 3 spaces. This is where you should end, whether you're doing the ear warmer or the cowl. Now, of course, with the ear warmer, we did 3 sets, and with the cowl, you'll need to do 6 sets. or more if you want your cowl longer. We're going to be continuing with our same color so that the trim down here matches up here. We're going to chain 3, and this chain 3 counts as a double crochet, and then we're going to place 3 double crochets in the chain 3 space. Then we'll place 1 double crochet in the single crochet. And this is the way that we'll stitch this row. 3 double crochets in the chain 3 space, and then a double crochet in the single crochet. And this is just going to give us a nice solid row of double crochets. So we'll stitch 3 double crochets in the chain 3 spaces. And then we'll stitch a double crochet in the single crochet that's in between. And we'll do this all the way around. And then we'll join back to the top of the chain 3. I joined to the top of the chain 3 with a slip stitch, and then I chained 3. And again, this chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. So we're going to double crochet in the next stitch, and then double crochet in the next stitch. And then we're going to do a front post double crochet like we did down here. 1, 2, 3, and then we'll front post double crochet, and then we'll do the same thing. 1, 2, 3 double crochets, and then a front post double crochet. 1, 2, 3 double crochets, and then a front post double crochets. And we'll do this all the way around our row, and then we'll tie off because we'll be finished. All righty. 1, 2, 3 double crochets, and then a front post double crochet. And we'll continue this all the way around the row. I finished up my row with my front post and my regular double crochets, and now we're going to cut our yarn and tie off. What I'm going to do is pull that yarn through, and then I'm just going to go underneath this stitch here and pull it to the back. Now, we're really not completely finished because we have this little opening where we first started that we need to close. So you'll need to take your needle and thread that tail of yarn on your needle, and then we're just going to stitch it closed. Like that. And then I go on the back and I just do just a couple of stitches. And then I just weave it in. It came right off my needle. There we go. And I just weave it in making sure I go through stitches and through the fibers and threads of the yarn, one way then the other, and then usually back the other way, and then I'll cut it. And now it looks all pretty and ready to go. And we need to take a few minutes and go ahead and weave in our ends in here. But you'll notice here is where we carried our yarn, and we don't have to weave those ends in. And we'll pretty much do this the same way we did the other side, only we don't have to close anything. We're just going to go through some stitches. And one thing to remember when you're weaving in your ends, make sure you stay within the color just in case that your threads show through. So we're going to go one way, then the other, going through stitches. There we go. And we'll just cut that off. And now my headband is ready for me to wear in the cold, cold weather with my matching cowl. And that's how you make the Lisa Ann ear warmer and cowl. Now stay warm out there.